This is an Innostor Plus rotating larder for the 300mm cabinet. It comes with 6 trays, each one taking up to 16 kilos. It can rotate 90 degrees in both directions, giving you easy access to both sides. It has a self-centering action, height adjustable, and comes with a smooth soft close action. In this video, I'll be showing you the installation process for this product. Before you start to install, make sure the unit is secure, stable, fixed to the wall. And in order for it to operate correctly, you must have a minimum internal cabinet depth of 500mm. So first, get all of your bits and pieces out and make sure that everything tallies up with the instructions if you've got everything that you need. For this installation, you will need a tape measure, a pencil, a set square, a ruler, a drill, and a screwdriver. So the first step is to find the centre line to the bottom of the cabinet. And extend this backwards. And then mark a point 37mm from the front of the cabinet. You can pilot this straight away. Now, if you take your bottom runner, place it inside the cabinet. So you can now line this up, the front hole with the pilot hole that you've just drilled. You can screw this into position. If you now close this up again, you need to make sure that it's straightened up so it's straight along the front of the cabinet here. You can double check this is central at the back by measuring both sides, and then you can drill the 4 holes and screw into position. You can then mark up a centre line for the top as well and extend this back. You then need to mark a line 229mm from the front of the cabinet. There's a line across at the front, 37mm. You can then pilot hole the point that you've drawn at 229. You can then screw the runner into place at the point that you've just pilot hole. From this position, you can then line up the 2 front screw holes on the 37mm line that you drew. And again, double check the measurements at the side and make sure they're the same. And then you can pilot hole here as well. You can now fit your top channel into the top frame, making sure that the gap here lines up with the hole underneath and that the screw holes line up. And then you can screw this into position. You can now start to assemble your components into the top frame. First, your piston, which clips in at the back, just in these grooves here, just pushes down and into place. The next piece to install is this piece here, which clips into these little slots at the side. The next piece to go in is this piece, which just slides down and in through the holes at the bottom. And the final piece slides up underneath the bit that you've just fitted and clicks into place. At this stage, you need to put your top basket in, because it's really difficult to do later on. If you take one of your top collars and basket clip, and this just hooks around the back and slides into position, and then repeat this for the other one. So you can then take your basket and the two bits that you've just put together and hold them in place at the sides. You can then take your top frame, bearing in mind this is now upside down, and slide this down into position, and then you can put your covers into place. So you can now attach the bottom frame to the top frame, making sure that this groove is at the same side as this piece. Bear in mind that this is still all being done upside down. So if you now extend the bottom runner and put the mid-length screw through the two holes at the front, you could then turn the frame the right way up again and put this into position, making sure the groove at the front locates over the screw that you've just put in, and you can secure this into position with a nut and tighten up with a screwdriver. The smallest screw then fits through at the back and attaches into the threaded side, just screws into place. And then the longest screw goes in through the top here. So if you now fully extend the top runner, I'll drop the spindle through the hole at the top here and lift up the frame so that the pin drops through and out the other side, and then pop the O-ring on the bottom to hold this in position. Make sure that the top frame is lifted up into the top runner as high as it will go, which should leave a gap between the underside of the carcassing and the underside of the frame of 83.5mm, and then tighten up the grub screws with the Allen key provided. Okay, just double checking now to make sure the gap at the top here is 83.5mm from the underside of the carcassing to the underside of the top frame. You can now put the frame brackets into position, so if you fully extend the larder and these screw into place using these holes, there's a fixed position for the bottom and the top one. There's 4 holes to choose from for the middle 2. You can then repeat this for the other 3. You can now fix your adjustment screws, making sure they go on the outer one of these 2 holes. And again repeat for the other 3 brackets. You can now install 3 of the door brackets to the frame brackets. These hook over the top and screw into position with a screw and washer. The reason that we only do 3 is because the other one will be used for positioning the door later on. And then repeat this for the other 2. So if you then close the unit, you can use your final door bracket to measure up for drilling the door. If you measure from the bottom of the unit up to the door bracket, and then transfer this measurement over to the door, taking into account the difference between the height of the door and the height of the carcass. Extend the line across. If you then line up your door bracket centrally on this line, a pilot hole there. You then do the same for the other side. And then put in the rest of the screws. If you then extend the unit again, you can hang the door in position using the bracket that you've just attached. You can now screw this into position the same way as you did the other 3 brackets. If you now close up again and assess how the door's lining up, and then open up, and you can fix the brackets in place accordingly. So if you close the unit again now, you can see that the gap between the carcass and the door at the top is a lot bigger than at the bottom. So if you open it up again, this can be altered by the tilt at the bottom here. If you loosen off the locking screw at the front here, and then adjust the screw on top, and as you turn it, it raises the front up, effectively tilting the larder backwards. So if we close this again now, it should have levelled off. It doesn't necessarily need to be flush with the cabinet at this stage because we still have fine tuning to do. You can then make fine adjustments to the alignment of the door. You can adjust the height by loosening off this screw on all 4 brackets and lifting the door up or down. You can adjust the side-to-side motion of the door by loosening off these 2 screws and shifting one way or the other. And you can adjust the depth of the door from the carcassing by again loosening off these 2 screws and adjusting the screws underneath, will either pull the door in or push away. So you can now fit the rest of your trays in the same way as you did the top one. So your plastic clips hook around the back of the frame and slide down into position. And the same at the back here. And then the tray just slides into place on these. Then repeat this for the other 4 trays. This unit comes with a bottle divider, which is usually used in the bottom tray, but can be put in any of the trays to suit yourself. Finally, we need to adjust the very top tray that you put in to start with. This is adjusted by lifting the collars to a position that suits you and then locking into position again with the Allen key provided. And then repeat this on the other collar. So this is the finished product. It will give you many years of service as long as you take care of it. Don't use any oil or lubricants on the runners. And only use mild detergent when cleaning it. Thank you for watching.